Necromancy. Necromancy, a word derived from the Greek words nekros, meaning dead, and mantia, meaning divination, is a form of magic involving communication with the dead. Often shrouded in fear and mystery, necromancy has been practiced throughout history in various cultures, with the aim of gaining hidden knowledge, foretelling the future, seeking counsel from deceased loved ones or ancestors, summoning spirits to exact revenge or place curses on enemies, or attempting to bring the dead back to life. This ancient practice, while often viewed with dread and suspicion, offers a fascinating window into humanity's attempts to bridge the gap between the living and the dead. Necromancy's origins can be traced back to ancient civilizations, including the Greeks, Romans, Egyptians, and Babylonians. In ancient Greece, necromancy was associated with the cult of Hecate and was often performed in secluded, haunted locations like caves or graveyards. During the medieval period, necromancy was often conflated with witchcraft and demonology. The church condemned the practice as heretical and diabolic, leading to its practitioners being persecuted. Despite this, necromancy persisted in secret, evolving into a more structured and elaborate form of magic. Medieval necromancers, often learned scholars or clerics, would use grimoires, ancient magical texts containing rituals, spells, and invocations to summon and control spirits. Necromantic rituals are often conducted in places associated with death, such as graveyards, tombs, or abandoned ruins. These locations are believed to be closer to the spirit world. Practitioners use a variety of tools, including wands, swords, and talismans inscribed with protective symbols and invocations. These tools are believed to help control and protect against malevolent spirits as they recite specific incantations and spells to summon and communicate with the dead. These words are often in Latin or other ancient languages, believed to have magical potency. Today, necromancy is largely a topic of fiction and fantasy, but it still has its adherents in various occult traditions. Modern necromancers may not practice the dark arts in the same way as their ancient counterparts, but they continue to explore the mysteries of life, death, and the afterlife. The Black Mass. This ritual is often depicted as an inversion or mockery of the traditional Christian Mass. The concept of the Black Mass began to take shape during the Middle Ages, a time of intense religious fervor and fear of heresy. The infamous French priest, Abbé Etienne Guibourg, is one of the earliest recorded figures associated with the Black Mass. In the 17th century, Guibourg allegedly performed these rites for Madame de Montespan, the mistress of King Louis XIV, in hopes of securing the king's continued favor. A Black Mass is typically conducted in a dark, secluded place, often at midnight. The altar might be anointed with unholy substances or even a naked woman, in stark contrast to the sacred altar in a church. The rituals involve the desecration of Christian symbols and prayers. The Holy Eucharist, if obtained, might be defiled in various sacrilegious ways like spitting on it, trampling, or even sexual acts. Black candles are lit beside an inverted cross, and the Mass is conducted by a defrocked priest or a self-proclaimed satanic priest who recites prayers backwards and invokes demons and demonic forces. It is seen as a means to gain supernatural power, often at the cost of one's soul. Historically, accusations of participating in or organizing a Black Mass could lead to severe punishments, including execution, especially during periods like the Inquisition and witch hunts. The Catholic Church has consistently condemned the Black Mass as a heinous act of sacrilege. Church authorities and secular governments alike have forbade such practices, viewing them as not only religiously offensive but also socially and morally dangerous. Modern satanic groups, such as the Church of Satan founded by Anton LaVey in 1966, have even distanced themselves from the traditional concept of the Black Mass. Goetia, a term derived from the Greek word Goetia, meaning sorcery, is a form of magic that involves summoning and commanding spirits, particularly demons. This ancient practice, deeply embedded in the Western esoteric tradition, is both revered and feared for its power and complexity. Goetia is most famously associated with the 17th century grimoire known as the Lesser Key of Solomon, particularly its first section, the Ars Goetia, which lists 72 demons that can be summoned and controlled by the magician. The concept of summoning and commanding spirits can be found in the magical period of Hellenistic Egypt, where spells and incantations were used to invoke gods, demons, and spirits for various purposes. According to legend, King Solomon, renowned for his wisdom and mastery over spirits, used these demons to build the Temple of Jerusalem. The Ars Goetia purports to teach how to summon these same demons using a system of sigils, incantations, and ritual tools. The ritual process typically involves the following steps. A protective circle with divine names is drawn, and a triangle nearby marks where the summoned demon will appear. Each demon in the Ars Goetia has a unique sigil, which the magician draws to focus the summoning. The magician recites a specific incantation, commanding the demon to appear within the triangle using divine authority. The magician negotiates with the demon, carefully considering the terms of any agreement. After the task is completed, the magician performs banishing rituals to safely dismiss the demon. Goetia is not a practice to be undertaken lightly. The implications of summoning and commanding demons are profound and potentially perilous. Practitioners of Goetia believe that improperly conducted rituals can lead to disastrous consequences, including physical harm, mental instability, or spiritual corruption. The summoned demon, if not properly controlled, might turn against the magician, wreaking havoc in its wake. Throughout history, Goetia has been practiced by a variety of individuals, from medieval magicians and alchemists to Renaissance scholars and occultists. Notable figures like Aleister Crowley and Samuel Liddell MacGregor Mathers, both prominent members of the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, studied and practiced Goetia, bringing it into the modern era of occultism. However, the practice of Goetia has always been fraught with danger, both from the spiritual forces involved and from the societal and religious condemnation it attracts. The Catholic Church and other Christian denominations have long forbidden the practice, viewing it as a grave sin and a gateway to damnation. The Rite of the Headless One. The Rite of the Headless One, also known as the Bornless Ritual, is one of the most enigmatic and powerful rituals in Western occultism. Its origins can be traced back to the Greek magical peri, a collection of ancient magical texts from Greco-Roman Egypt, dating from the 2nd century BCE to the 5th century CE. The ritual is designed to invoke the Headless One, a mysterious and powerful entity or force that transcends ordinary human understanding. The ritual first appears in the Greek magical peri, where it is presented as an exorcism used to drive out evil spirits. Over time, the ritual has been reinterpreted and adapted by various occult traditions, including the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn and Thelema, founded by Aleister Crowley. In these traditions, the Rite of the Headless One is often employed as an invocation of the Holy Guardian Angel, or the True Self, a concept central to Crowley's teachings. The ritual begins with the magician standing in a sacred space, often within a magic circle for protection. The magician then recites a powerful incantation, which calls upon the Headless One. The invocation includes several lines where the magician identifies themselves with the Headless One, declaring, "I am the Headless One," followed by a series of divine names and attributes. The text of the ritual can vary, but it often includes references to the light and the fire, suggesting the invocation of a divine force that transcends physical form. The magician asserts their authority over the spiritual realm, commanding spirits and entities to obey. The absence of a head implies a being that is not bound by the limitations of the human mind or ego, suggesting a connection to the divine or the infinite. By identifying with the Headless One, the magician seeks to transcend their ordinary self and connect with their higher, divine nature. In modern interpretations, particularly in Thelema, the ritual is seen as a powerful tool for invoking the magician's true will and aligning with their higher purpose. However, its association with magic, occultism, and the invocation of powerful forces has naturally placed it in opposition to orthodox religious institutions, particularly within Christianity, categorizing them as heretical, blasphemous, or even demonic. The Voodoo doll ritual. This is a symbolic practice associated with Voodoo, a religion with roots in West African spirituality and Haitian culture. Contrary to popular belief, the Voodoo doll is not inherently malevolent. The doll, often made from cloth, wax, or other materials, is used as a focus for directing spiritual energy towards a specific person. Pins or other objects may be inserted into the doll at various points, corresponding to the area of life or the body the practitioner wishes to influence, be it for healing, protection, love, or, in some cases, harm. The ritual involves invoking spirits, known as loa in Voodoo, to channel energy through the doll, often accompanied by prayers, offerings, and other ceremonial acts. The doll acts as a physical representation of the person it is intended to affect, allowing the practitioner to target their intentions more precisely. While the Voodoo doll has been sensationalized in popular culture as a tool for curses, in traditional practice, it is just as often used for positive purposes. Voodoo as a whole has often been demonized by Western cultures. During the colonial era, European colonizers often suppressed African-derived spiritual practices as a means of controlling enslaved populations and erasing their cultural identities. The Witches Sabbath. This is a gathering of witches, believed to be a secret nocturnal meeting where witches worship the devil, perform dark rituals, and engage in various forms of sorcery. This concept, popularized during the European witch hunts of the late Middle Ages and the early modern period, often depicted the Sabbath as a blasphemous inversion of Christian practices. At these gatherings, witches were thought to cast spells, brew potions, and participate in rituals involving dancing, feasting, and sometimes sexual orgies, all under the direction of the devil, who appeared in various forms. The Witches' Sabbath became a central theme in witch trials, with accusations often based on the belief that individuals had attended these gatherings. Although, in reality, the Witches' Sabbath was more of a myth than a reflection of actual practices, fueled by religious and social fears, and used to justify the persecution of those accused of witchcraft. Chaos magic sigils. Chaos magic, a modern form of occult practice, is a system that emphasizes the use of belief as a tool for achieving one's desires, rather than adhering to any specific dogma or tradition. One of the most distinctive and widely used techniques in chaos magic is the creation and use of sigils. These are symbols crafted from a specific intent, designed to bypass the conscious mind and implant a desire deep within the unconscious, where it is believed to manifest into reality. The concept of the sigil as it is known in chaos magic was developed by the British artist and occultist Austin Osman Spare in the early 20th century. Spare was an eccentric figure, steeped in both the artistic and esoteric circles of his time. His work diverged sharply from the more structured ceremonial magic of figures like Aleister Crowley, focusing instead on the power of the subconscious and personal belief. Spare's method involved taking a statement of intent, such as "I will find success," and breaking it down into its constituent letters. These letters would then be artistically combined and abstracted into a unique symbol, the sigil, which encapsulates the desire without being overtly recognizable as language. This sigil, once created, is charged with energy through concentration or ritual, then fired into the unconscious mind, often by being forgotten or destroyed. Spare believed that the conscious mind's direct involvement in manifesting desires was often a hindrance, and by bypassing it, the sigil could work more effectively. Sigil magic, like other forms of chaos magic, is often considered forbidden by mainstream religious traditions because it involves manipulating reality through personal will, bypassing traditional religious structures and divine authority. It's seen as a form of sorcery or witchcraft, which many religions condemn as dangerous and spiritually corrupting. Additionally, the emphasis on self-directed power and the lack of adherence to established moral or ethical guidelines often associated with chaos magic can lead to concerns about its potential misuse, further contributing to its taboo status. The Baphomet ceremony. The Baphomet ceremony is a ritual associated with various occult traditions, particularly within modern Satanism and some branches of esoteric Freemasonry. Baphomet is a symbolic figure, often depicted as a goat-headed, winged being with both male and female attributes, representing the union of opposites such as good and evil, male and female, and spiritual and material. The ceremony itself typically involves invoking Baphomet as a representation of balance, enlightenment, and the pursuit of knowledge. Rituals may include the recitation of specific invocations, symbolic gestures, and the use of ritual objects such as candles, sigils, or altars dedicated to Baphomet. Participants might meditate on the figure of Baphomet to achieve personal transformation or spiritual insight. While the Baphomet symbol has often been associated with Satanism and misunderstood as a purely evil entity, in many esoteric traditions, it represents deeper metaphysical principles rather than literal devil worship. This has led to its controversial and forbidden status in mainstream religious contexts, where it is often condemned as blasphemous or heretical.